Hello students, continuing with unit number 4, investment decisions. So today we will be seeing under unit number 4 named investment decisions, the last part of this unit, that is IRR, MIRR and case study. So already we know that investment decisions cover the theory part as well as the traditional and the modern techniques for evaluation of investments. But today we will be seeing only the last part, that is the internal rate of return, the modified internal rate of return and case study, which I have named it as module 4.2C. So we know that investment evaluation techniques are divided into traditional and discounted. Under traditional, payback and accounting rate of return, which we have already seen in my previous video lectures. Discounted cash flow method, we have seen net present value, profitability index. Now we are just left with internal rate of return and MIRR. In this video lecture, we'll be covering these two aspects, and by this we cover the entire unit. Moving ahead, internal rate of return. First of all, let us understand what is internal rate of return. This method is also called as yield on investment or rate of return method. Internal rate of return is the rate of return that a project earns when NPV equal to 0. It is a discount rate that equates cumulative PV of net cash inflow with aggregate PV of cash outflow of a project. So, internal rate of return means what is the rate of return that will be fetched on the investment that is made. So, here under this method we are going to calculate the rate of return. So decision rule will be if internal rate of return is more than K. We have already seen in unit number 3 that K stands for nothing but the cost of capital, which is nothing but the cost of investment. So if the rate of return is more than the cost, then accept the investment proposal. If the rate of return that we are deriving is less than the cost, then reject the investment proposal. And if the rate of return is equal to the cost, then it is indifference. That is, either you can take the decision of accepting the proposal or you can take the decision of rejecting the proposal. So internal rate of return is nothing but what is the yield, what is the return that a particular company will be earning on the investments it is making. Now what is a simple what is that particular rate that is termed as internal rate of return? It is that rate at which the NPV will turn out to be 0. Now what is N formula for NPV? PV of cash inflows minus PV of cash outflows. If you are minusing PV of cash inflows with the PV of cash outflows, and if the answer is coming to 0, so the rate at which the answer is coming at 0, the rate at which NPV comes to 0, that is the rate of internal rate of return. So it is a discount rate that equates cumulative PV cash inflow with cash outflow of a project. So always remember, internal rate of return is that particular rate of return where the PV of cash inflows will be equal to PV of cash outflows, or where the NPV will be 0. How to calculate internal rate of return? Suppose when there is annual cash inflows are equal. So see, always remember, in internal rate of return you are not going to calculate the you're not going to calculate what is the inflows, what is the outflows. You're going to calculate the rate of return, that is R. So step number 1, find the present value factor. So how will you find out the present value factor? There is a formula. Initial investment is nothing but the cash outflow divided by average annual cash inflow. Then check the annuity table by finding the rate corresponding to the PV factor and number of years. See, in every project number of years will be given. Is this clear? Now we need to find out R. Usually in our annuity tables, what you will have table number A, B, C, D. In order to find the PV factor, what are the two elements you require? You require R and you require N. Now in this method, you will be having N and you will be having the PV factor. Based on the combination, you need to find R. So PV factor you will find with the help of a formula, initial investment divided by average annual cash inflows. So check the annuity table by finding the rate corresponding to the PV factor and number of years. Suppose if the number of years is 5, in the row of 5 and the PV factor, what is the corresponding rate? That will be the IRR. Now, if PV factor is not an absolute number, suppose whatever answer you are getting as per this formula, that exact factor is not present in the annuity table, then IRR would be between two factors and nearest factor is taken as IRR. So when it is not exactly, when the PV factor is not exactly plotted in the annuity table, then the IRR is found out by using this formula, x plus px minus I divided by px minus py in the bracket y minus x. So where in this formula, where IRR is internal rate of return, y is higher discount rate, x is lower discount rate, px is PV of cash inflows at x, py is PV of cash inflows at y, and I is initial investment. So always remember, in IRR you have to calculate R rate with the help of annuity table. So first you need to find out PV factor. After finding PV factor and the number of years will be given in the problem, corresponding to that, what is the rate? That will be the IRR. Suppose if PV factor is not a absolute number that can be plotted in the IRR, find the nearest to a number that is nearest to the PV factor and consider 2 hours, and you can solve it by IRR by using this particular formula. Moving ahead, when how to calculate IRR when the annual cash inflows are unequal. So you will be using a trial and error method. So first determine the first trial rate. See, in trial and error method always remember, when they are asking you to calculate IRR and if the cash inflows are unequal, you have to always use trial and error method. Under trial and error method, you need to take randomly two rates. Determine the first rate and then apply the second rate. So first rate, how will you know from which rate of return is to be started? Again, use this formula. PV factor is nothing but initial investment divided by average annual cash inflows. Now, what is average annual cash inflows? That is whatever is the total inflows divided by number of projects. Suppose you have the cash inflows for 5 years. For the first year different, second year different, third year different, fourth year different, fifth year different. So, you will take the total of cash inflows of all the 5 years and divide it by 5. Then you get the PV factor and then you use annuity table to obtain the IRR. Till now what we used to do, we used to always use annuity table to find the PV factor by using R and N. But now we are going to use the annuity table to find the return rate by using N and the PV factor. Then after finding the first rate, application of second trial rate. You know how to pick the first rate by using this formula. Now how to pick the second rate? Pay attention. If NPV is positive, by using the first rate, calculate the NPV. If NPV is coming positive, then apply higher discount rate. Like take any higher discount rate. Suppose at 10% if the NPV is coming positive, then you have to apply a higher rate. Then you can randomly take trial and error method. So you randomly take 15%. And if NPV continues to be positive, the discount rate is again increased. This process is continued till NPV becomes 0 and you will know how to calculate NPV. PV of cash inflows minus PV of cash outflows. Now suppose as per the first trial rate, if NPV becomes becomes negative, then IRR will lie between the negative figure and positive figure just preceding it. This you all will understand better when we solve the problems. But for now you will understand if cash flows are equal and unequal. If the cash flows are equal, you are going to find out by using the absolute number. If it is not absolute, means it will lie between two rates. Here in trial and error method, first determine the first rate with the help of this formula and then calculate NPV. See if the NPV is positive or negative. If it is positive, apply a higher rate and then find the NPV. And if it is negative, means the IRR will be between the positive and negative. And if the IRR is between the two rates, then which formula are you going to use to find IRR? This rate. It is higher discount rate and lower discount rate. This formula is to be used when you know that IRR is lying between two rates of returns. You all will understand it better when we solve the problems. Next, modified internal rate of return. This method is also called as return on investment, assuming a particular return on reinvestment of cash flows. Now what happens in this return, this modified internal rate of return came into picture because there were some deficiencies in the internal rate of return. So it is like nothing but a particular return which is reinvested in a cash flow. Now how do you calculate the modified rate of return? Always remember there is three simple steps. Step number 1, you're going to calculate the PV of cost, which is nothing but the PV of cash outflows. Second, calculate future value of cash inflows. And third, equate step number 1 and 2. Means PV of cash outflows should be equal to PV of cash inflows. See, can we equate present value of the cash outflows with the future value of cash inflows? No, because they are not comparable. So to make them comparable, we have to bring step number 2 to its present value. Is this clear? Step number 1, calculate the present value of the cash outflows. Step number 2, calculate the future value of cash inflows, and then to bring this both equally, we have to convert future value of cash inflows to its present value. So step number 3 is bring this in the form of an equation, that is present value of cash outflows is equal to the present value of future value of cash inflows. That is nothing but step number 1 is equal to the present value of step number 2. So how it will be if you put in the form of a diagram, if you put in the substitute it, present value of cash outflows is nothing but the future value of cash inflows divided by 1 plus r raised to n. See, if you want to find out, you all know that if A, you all know that formula, right? A is equals to P in the bracket 1 plus r raised to n. Now, if you want to find out P, okay, and A is nothing but the future amount, P is the principal amount. So, what do we do? If you want to find out P, A divided by 1 plus r raised to n, that is what we are doing this. Because we want to bring this future value to present value. So, A, suppose this is A, future value is denoted by A divided by 1 plus r raised to n. Now, by substituting the figures, we will get what is r. Here r is missing. MIRR is nothing but the r. Here r is missing. When we solve this equation, we will get the answer for r. That is, we will get what is modified rate of internal rate of return. So, which is nothing but step 1. PV of cash outflow is nothing but derived in step 1. Then future value of cash inflows is derived under step 2. Divided by 1 plus r raised to n. N will be given in the problem. Substitute the figures and you will get the value of modified internal rate of return. Now, what is the decision rule? If the MIRR is greater than K, K is is a cost of the project. MIRR is the return on the project. So if MIRR is greater than K, accept the proposal. Obviously, if the return is less than the cost is more, then obviously you're going to reject the investment proposal. And if MIRR is equal to K, you're going to be indifferent. That is, either you can accept it or reject it. So once again, just revising MIRR. MIRR is nothing but you can get the answer only in 3 steps. Step number 1, calculate the PV of cash outflows. And how is cash outflows? Wherever your money is going out of your pocket, it is cash outflow. Whenever money is flowing inside, it is cash inflow. So step number 1, calculate PV of cash outflows. Step number 2, calculate future value of cash inflows, and step number 3, put it in the form of an equation, that is present value of cash outflows is equal to present value of future value of cash inflows. Again, you will understand this better when we solve the problems. Next. Now we know that in this chapter we have case study on the replacement of capital project. What do you mean by replacement of capital project? Suppose if there is an old asset, should that old asset be replaced by a new one? So that is nothing but replacement of capital project. Capital project means which involves heavy amount of cash outflow. So let us understand. A replacement decision occurs when one asset is proposed to be replaced with another. When one asset is proposed to be replaced with another. For example, an existing machine is proposed to be replaced in order to enhance the production. Suppose it's an old machine, you are wishing to replace it with a new one to increase its production. Now, what is the important assumptions for replacement? The economic life of the new asset is equal to the remaining economic life of the existing asset being replaced. What is the assumption? Suppose the old asset is having a remaining life of 5 years, then it is assumed that the new asset that is purchased will have the economic life of 5 years. Next. Now, decision rule. Now, how should we take a decision whether we should continue with the old existing asset or should we purchase or replace the existing asset with a new asset? You can use two techniques for this. One is the NPV technique and the next one is IRR technique. You can use any technique. Step number 1 in NPV technique. Use the required rate of return as discount rate. Whatever rate of return is given in the problem, use it as a discount rate. Calculate NPV on the incremental net investments and incremental cash inflows. So here in replacement, you are going to use NPV technique. You know what is NPV? PV of cash inflows minus PV of cash outflows. But you are going to use only the incremental, increased cash inflow and increased cash outflow if you are replacing the old machine with the new machine. Next, accept the proposal if the NPV is positive. If NPV is negative, the firm may continue with the existing asset only and it need not get replaced. Here we are seeing whether the firm or the company should continue with the existing asset or replace the existing asset with the new asset. So under you can use NPV technique in exam or IRR technique in exam. If you are using NPV technique, remember that whatever rate is given in the problem, it has to be taken as discount rate. Then you are going to calculate NPV only on the incremental cash inflows and incremental cash outflows. Then step number 3, accept, like you go in for the or replace the old asset only when the NPV is positive. If the NPV is negative, don't go for replacement, use the old asset only. Next we will see is IRR technique. Step number 1, compute the IRR of incremental cash flows. Whatever is the increased cash flows, you compute the IRR. How to compute IRR we have already seen. Step number 2, if IRR is greater than cost, accept the investment proposal and get the replacement done. If IRR is less than the cost, reject the investment proposal and continue with the existing asset, because always remember your return should be more than the cost. If the cost is more than the return, obviously you're going to reject it and you're not going to accept that proposal. So we have completed with the theory part of IRR, MIRR and case study. Now let us go to the problems to understand the theory better. Okay. So here we come to unit number 4, investment decisions, problems on internal rate of return. Now, a company is considering the following proposal with initial outflow of rupees 10,000. So here the initial outflow becomes the cash outflow of 10,000 with the following cash inflows. Year 1 there is an inflow of 1000, year 2 there is an inflow of 1000, year 3 there is an inflow of 2000, year 4 there is an inflow of 10,000. Compute the IRR if opportunity cost is 14%. So here K, To make this decision rule, K is important. Here K is 14%. Correct? Okay. Now, what is given? Cash inflows are given, the cash outflow is given, and K is given. Now we want to find IRR. Now, is the cash flows equal, unequal? The cash flows are unequal. So let us see the solution. First, let us calculate the PV factor of the for the project. So how do you calculate PV factor? We have seen initial investments, or you can also call this as cash outflow, divided by average annual cash inflow. Now let us see how to calculate average annual cash inflow, because initial investment is already given in the problem 10,000, so no need to calculate that, but we need to calculate the average annual cash inflow. So how to calculate that? See here, note number 1, calculation of average annual cash inflow. What you have to take, all total of all the inflows divided by number of years. So you're taking total of 1000, 1000, 2000 and 10,000 divided by 4. 1000, 1000, 2000, 10,000 divided by 4. You got rupees 3,500. Just substitute this in this formula and you get the PV factor as 2.8571. Always remember, the first step is to find out the PV factor. Second step is what? To find out the rate. Now rate is found out by using N. N we know is 4 years and PV factor is 2.8571. Now we'll go to the annuity table. Now we have come to the annuity table. Now in annuity table, what is the PV factor we got? 2.8571 for 4 years. So we have to see table number D, present value for an annuity. Just you have to concentrate on this. Just you have to concentrate on the 4 years, because N is 4 years. Just don't look at any other factors. Now in this 4 years, can you find a PV factor that is exactly equal to 2.8571? No, there is no exact figure. But we know at 15%, it is nearing to 2.8571. It is nearing to 2.8550. Is this clear? See, we want 2.8. So in this entire particular 4 years row, this is the only place where it is nearing. Now corresponding to this, what is the percentage? What is R? R is 15%. So we will take in the present value annuity table, value near to 2.8571 for 4 years is found in 15%. Correct? So next step is to find out NPV, because we know IRR is that rate where NPV is 0. So obviously NPV we have to calculate. Okay. So ignore these two columns for now. So we have written cash inflows as it is from the problem. Now PV at the rate of 15%. We are taken R as 15%. So present value at the rate of 15%. Calculate the present value of cash inflows by multiplying this by this. You know how to calculate PV at the rate of 15%. It is a single cash flow. So again go to the table number C. So 15% PV at the rate of 15%. For the first year, it is nothing but 0.8696. I've just substituted the table. You all know how to check the table. See, in some PV tables, there is after decimal point there are 4 digits, and in some PV tables after decimal point there are 3 digits. Even if you take 3 digits, no issues. Take 4 digits, no issues. If you are taking 3 digit, round off the 4 digit. Like if the 4th digit is more than 5, then take the next number. If it is less than 5, take the same number. So you'll know how to do this. Then you got the present value. Then what is the PV of cash inflow for this? For now, just ignore this. I will tell you the significance of this later. So what is the PV of cash inflows? 8659. So now we'll find the NPV at 15%. So NPV at 15% is how much? 8659. PV of cash inflows minus PV of cash outflows. Outflows initially kitna tha? 10,000. So minus 10,000. So how much you got the NPV? Minus 1341. Now you got negative 1341, but you want NPV as 0 because IRR is that rate where NPV is 0. Now you have to use the trial and error method. Now since the NPV is in negative, you have to select a lower discount rate. See, if NPV would have come positive, you could have taken random a higher discount rate. Now take a lower discount rate. Since NPV is negative, we need to select a lower discount rate. So we take a trial of 10%. We just took a trial of 10%. So similarly, PV at 10% we did, and we found out that PV of cash inflows is coming to 100,868. So what is IRR? What is NPV at 10%? 100,68 minus 10,000. That is PV of cash inflows minus outflows. You got rupees 68. Now, here it is positive 68 and here it is negative 1341. Means IRR is somewhere between 10% to 15%. Now I'll tell you all the significance of this. In your exam, either you can make these two tables separately, or if you all want, you all can combine and make the same table at 15% and showing at the rate of 10%. That is the reason I just kept to show you all. Presentation may differ as per your choice. Now, you know that because between some minus value and some positive value, obviously 0 lies between a minus and a positive value. So you know that IRR is somewhere between 10% and 15%. So when you know that IRR is between two numbers, what are you going to use? You are going to use this formula. Now IRR may be found by interpolation between 10% and 15% as follows. So you have just written this formula. Now I'll just tell you what is this. Y is nothing but higher discount rate, which is 15%, is as per that formula calculation. X is lower discount rate 10% as per our trial and error method. Then PX is nothing but PV of cash inflows at 10%. What is the PV of cash inflows at 10%? At 10%, the present value of cash inflows is 100,68, which we have taken here. PV of cash inflows at Y is 8659. Y is nothing but at 15%. 15% it is 8659. And initial investment is 10,000. What I have done is just substituted all these figures into this formula and we got IRR is 10.24%. Always remember, first solve the numerator, then solve the denominator, then divide the both, multiply with it, and then add with X. Now, we got IRR as 10.04%, but we had cost in the problem as 14%. Now, should we accept it or should we reject it? Now, since cost is 14%, IRR, return is 10%, 10.24%. Now, return is less, cost is more. Therefore, the project should be rejected. So, this is IRR. Next, problems on modified internal rate of return. Now, you all know how to calculate modified internal rate of return. We require only 3 steps. Step number 1, calculate PV of cash outflows. Step number 2, calculate future value of cash inflows. And step number 3, equate those two. Equate means PV of cash outflow has to be equal to the PV of future value of cash inflows. So now, year 0 you have minus 800, year 1 you have 5000, year 2 you have minus 5000. Now what do you mean by minus? When anything is given minus in the problem means it is cash outflows. Always remember. When anything is given as positive means it is cash inflows. So step number 1, calculate the PV of cash outflow. Right here. Which all years there is a cash outflow? Year 0 and year 2. So year 0 it is minus 800 and year 2 it is minus 5000. PV at the rate of 10%. Again you will see table number C. You will see the PV factor at 10%. Multiply, you get PV of cash outflows. Now you have to calculate the future value of cash inflows at the rate of 10%. Always remember, in future value you have to go reverse. Reverse in the sense, for present value you go from 1 to year, but in future value you have to go 1 from year. So how many years are there between 1 and 2? There is only 1 year. So you are going to find out the future value of a single cash flow at 1 year. So future value at 10%. So just for you all to understand, you're going to see it is a single cash flow at 10% for 1 year. It is 1.1 thousand. So 1.1 thousand multiply, you get future value of cash inflows. Now you have to equate. Sorry, this is cash inflows. Future value of cash inflows. Now you have to, step number 3 is you are going to equate it. Equate what? Present value of cash outflows minus present value of future value of cash inflows. So step number 1, you have to write it here, 4932 is equals to step number 2, 5500 divided by 1 plus r raised to n. Now what is n? N is given here is 2 years, correct? So equate it, solve this equation and you will get r. This r, what you will be getting is nothing but MIRR, which is nothing but 5.6%. Okay. Second problem, P Limited is evaluating a project that has the following cash flows associated with it. Year 0, it has up to 6 years. Now if it is in minus means it is PV of cash outflows, and if it is in positive means it is a PV of cash inflows. The cost of capital is 15%. So once you calculate R, you're going to compare R with the cost. If it is more, if the return is more, accepted. If return is less, rejected. So first you're going to calculate PV of cash outflows. Which year's outflows are there? Year 0 and year 1, 80. Now at 15% for single cash flow, you are going to see table number C. Multiply it, you are going to get PV of cash outflows. Now step number 2, future value of cash inflows. See, future value is given in from year 2 to year 6. So like that I will write from year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cash inflows. Future value at the rate of 15%. So for future value you will see which table? Single cash flow, no, for year 2. So you will see table number 1. But how many years? To reach from 2 to 6, how many years are required? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how are you going to see the PV factor? See, present value it is reverse. Future value it is in the opposite direction. So I will help you all to see how to find out the future value at 15%. 15% future value at the rate of 15%. So to go from 2 to 6, that is future value. So how many years are required? 4. So you are going to take this PV factor 1, because this is 4th year 15%, 1.7490. So 1.749. I have taken 3 digits because the next digit is 0. So I have taken 3 digits. If you all want, you all can take 4 digits, no issues. The decision will be same if you take even 3 digits or 4 digits. Now for the third value. Third value, how many years are required? 1 to go from third year to 6th year, 1, 2, 3. So you are going to see here 1.5209, and similarly 1.3225 and 1.1500. And for the last year, 6th year future value for 6th year will be 1 only, obviously. So you just multiply, you get PV of cash inflows. Now third step is PV of cash outflows is equal to PV of future value of cash inflows. So this is step number 1, what answer we got? This is step number 2, what answer we got? Divided by 1 plus r raised to 6. What is 6? Number of years. Now here whatever answer we are going to get as of r is nothing but MIRR answer. Substitute it, solve this, you will get MIRR answer. Now what is r? You put it in the form of percentage, you got 16.24%. So should this project should be accepted or rejected? Cost is 15%. Rate of return you are getting is 16.24%. Obviously the return is more. So this project should be accepted. Last thing is problem on case study on replacement of capital project. Means there is an existing asset. Should it be continued or should you buy a new asset and replace it? So I have already told you there are two techniques for this. That is NPV technique, where only incremental NPV you are going to find out, and there is IRR technique. If NP is positive, you are going to accept it. NPV is negative, you are going to reject it. If IRR is more than cost, you are going to accept it. If IRR is less than cost, then you're going to continue with the old asset. So first let me read it. XYZ Limited, whose required rate of return is 10%. Now in NPV I told you all that whatever is a required rate of return should be taken as the discount rate, is considering replacing one of its plant by a new plant. The data relating to existing and proposed plant are as follows. Existing plant, the book value of the cost is 24,000. Proposed plant, proposed means a new plant that they are purchasing to buy, the cost is 54,000. Remaining life for both the assets is 6 years. Depreciation is 4,000 for existing and proposed plant 9,000. Scrap value means if you scrap the existing asset and go to buy a new asset, it is 20,000 scrap value for existing. Profit before depreciation and tax is 8,000 and 15,000. Evaluate the proposal as per both NPV and IRR technique. Tax is 40%. The loss on disposal of asset is not tax deductible. So solution. Solution is always calculate incremental investment. See, in replacement project only incremental you are going to find out. So suppose if you are going for the proposed plant, what is the incremental cost? Cost is 54,000. When you will go to buy a new asset, when you sell off your old asset, then you will buy a new asset. So when you sell off your old asset, you are going to get 20,000 as scrap value, and the new asset cost is how much? 54,000. So what is your incremental cost? 54,000 is the cost, but minus you are getting the scrap value for the old asset. So what is the net cash outflow? 34,000. Here only incremental you are going to find out. Next, incremental cash inflows for existing and proposed. Profit before depreciation is how much? 8,000 for existing. For proposed it is 50,000. 15,000. Depreciation is already given 4,000, 9,000. So profit before tax is 4,000, 6,000. You're going to less tax. Then profit after tax you got. Now it is cash inflows. So depreciation is a non-cash item. So you're going to add back depreciation 4,000, 6,000. So how much you got cash inflows is 6,400 under existing asset, and under proposed asset 16,000, 12,600. So what is the incremental? What is the increased cash inflow? Incremental is nothing but increased. So what is the increased cash inflow? It is 6,200. Now we will find NPV. NPV I already told you, always take required rate of return as the R. That is the discount rate. So NPV is nothing but PV of cash inflows minus PV of cash outflows. PV of cash inflows is nothing but cash flow into present value annuity factor at 10% for 6 years, because number of years is given as 6. Correct? Next. Cash outflows is 34,000. This you all know how to find out present value of an annuity factor. Table number D. For 10% for 6 years, see what is the factor, multiply with 6,200 minus 34,000. So you got minus 6,999. Now since NPV is negative, the proposal should be rejected. Replacement should not be done. The proposal for replacing the old plant by the new plant should be rejected, and the company should continue with its old asset. Now next we are using IRR method. Now IRR method mein I told you find what you have to do is you have to see that 34,000, that is the cash outflow divided by average investment, correct? So 34,000 divided by 6,200 is nothing but 5.5 years is the payback period. Now on the basis of the present value annuity factor table, the value nearest to 5.54 years row is, okay, is nothing but 5.601 and 5.242. See, number of years, we will go to the table. See, we have come to the table. Now number of years is 6, and this is nothing but the formula, which is 34,000, that is initial investment divided by average cash inflow. So it is coming 5.5. So 5.5 for 6 years is going to fall somewhere between 2% and 3%. Is this clear? So we have taken, thus IRR lies between 2 and 3%. Now since IRR is lying between 2 and 3%, and our cost is how much given in the problem? The cost is given as 10%. Now the rate can be either between 2 or 3% and cost is 10%. Then obviously cost is more, so the firm should reject the proposal. Here there is a mistake. It is 5.5 PV factor for 6 years. So you have to check. Now on the basis of the present value annuity table, the value nearest to 5.5, okay, for 6 years row is this. Is this clear? I told you how do you have to suppose to find out the PV factor is nothing but initial investment divided by cash inflows. You got 5.5. So in the year 6 you're going to find 5.5. Where it is falling? It is falling somewhere between 2% and 3% because this is 5.6 and this is 5.4. So 5.5 is going to fall between 5.6 and 5.4. So 2% and 3%. But we have the cost as 10%. So obviously cost is more. So therefore the proposal should be rejected. The old plant should not be replaced by the new plant. The firm should continue the existing plant. So I hope you will have understood the sums. So back to PPT. We have covered IRR, MIRR and the case study. So by this we have completed, and thank you, we have completed, and at the end of module 4.2c, that is the modern methods of investment evaluation techniques, IRR, MIRR and the case study, and by this we complete the entire module 4 investment decisions. Thank you so much students.